This is the ICI Auto Colour Formula Ford race. It incorporates the Dunlop Challenge. We're racing over 10 laps, and the young chargers of New Zealand motor racing show their stuff here at the Pukekohe circuit today. Ashley Stitchbury, you can see him there in car number 6. He will have the pole, and outside of him, Ken Smith, the veteran, in car number 31. So in behind them, we have Gary Croft in his Swift, Andrew Neil, car 18 in 4th spot. Then it's Rhys Mackay, Mike Davidson, Shane Drake, and Blair Smith from the South Island. As we wait for a start, we can see the lights waiting for the green light, so you can get away the quickest. The youngster, Ashley Stitchbury, or the veteran, Kenny Smith. The red, and now wait for the green. Here's a start. What a great start from Ashley Stitchbury. Kenny Smith on the outside, and Stitchbury's taken it. And Gary Croft trying very hard up the inside underneath Ken Smith. Stitchbury, Smith and Croft. That was the order.
Andrew Neil bogged right down. He's way back at about 8th place. Ashley Stitchbury had the pole yesterday, had clutch trouble, looked like a winner, but just didn't have the mechanical wherewithal. He dropped back and dropped out, in fact. But he's right on the case now from Kenny Smith. Gary Croft, yesterday's winner, bringing up 3rd place.
And it looks like we got Rhys Mackay there in 4th place, and Mike Davidson behind him, and there's Andrew Neil there.
Watch the move from Ken Smith on the outside. Is he going to go for an outside line? He's got the legs. Will he crank over and get the position? He's locked up. He's got it.
Brave stuff from Ken Smith. The veteran takes it. Stitchbury, Croft, and we've got one heading away to the boonies somewhere, disappearing. So there we go. That's Ken Smith still leading. What a great job he's doing, as we saw that car just in the background there coming back onto the circuit.
Ken Smith, but now the new lap record holder for Formula Ford. He's fighting hard to hold up Stitchbury. Stitchbury will go for the outside line. Will he take it? Croft is looking for a gap also. Stitchbury grabs the lead. Andrew Neil coming through in the white Reynard. Mike Davis is right up there in the Dulux Van Diemen. So a real big battle for the lead for the first 5 cars. It's Stitchbury, Smith, Croft, Davison and Neil.
And isn't this fantastic stuff? David Oxton must bring back memories of your days in Formula Fords when it was the formula for learning how to drive a race car.
It still is. This is the class that the boys aspire to, from go-karts to Formula Ford. Let's look at his action. Let's not miss it. Gary Croft is ranging in on Stitchbury.
And Smith on the outside, trying to do it again. Look how close this action is. Andrew Neil up there as well. And Mike Davidson underneath Ken Smith. And Rhys Mackay in there as well. By crikey, this is close. This is great stuff. But it's Ashley Stitchbury, Gary Croft, Ken Smith, Mike Davidson, Andrew Neil. That's the front runners.
Watch Crofty. He's in the Ubix car and he's making his move now. He's taken away 2nd place off Smithy. He's the aggressive style of Croft this year, the runner-up from last season. He finished runner-up to Andy McElrea. He's ranged in on Stitchbury. Stitchbury, a very mature drive, 17 years old, in the Richard Lester Motorsport car run by Whittaker's. 8 laps, still a long way to go in motor racing terms. A Formula Ford race usually goes right down to the last lap. Last week at Wellington, that was exactly what happened.
And David, the important thing now here is fitness and concentration for these young men.
Well, let's say Kenny Smith would like to be called a young man, but he's showing these youngsters he's not about to give racing away easily for these blokes. He's very impressed with these youngsters.
Gary Croft is in the blue car, Ashley Stitchbury in the brown car, the Whittaker's car, and all bunching up behind Andrew Neil there, coming up into 2nd place on the outside, and he's gone a little bit too wide this time, but he's sticking right behind Stitchbury. But we have a new race leader in the blue car, that's Gary Croft.
Andrew Neil, as we said, is the current series leader. He's just by consistent places has brought himself up into the lead. Andrew Neil 3rd on screen at the moment, but Gary Croft, this is the magically brilliantly brand new Swift Mo car out of England, the works car, on loan to Croft to develop it, but Stitchbury takes the lead back again.
My crikey, this is great racing. Stitchbury won't give up, will he? How many times has he had the lead taken off him, and he's fought back? Kenny Smith tried it, now Gary Croft trying it, and he's fought his way back. And Andrew Neil, after a bad start, up into 3rd place, just 1 spot ahead of Ken Smith.
Well, these Formula Ford races build the budding champions of the future. We'll talk about Ayrton Senna starting in karts in Formula Ford, and still, this is the way to go. I predict that Croft will have a future in the big cars, the Grand Prix cars of New Zealand, the Formula Atlantic cars soon. But Ashley Ashley Stitchbury, he's got the world in front of him. 17 years old and leading these superior drive. Well, these more...
Oh, he gets a little bit sideways there, a little bit twitchy, but he hangs on to it. That's a bit of maturity you're talking about, David.
17 years old. He's got a ton of time to learn the way, but he's showing these guys he's not about to be pushed around.
And look, we've got a train of about 8 or 10 cars out there, and by crikey, you know, you can throw a blanket over the gaps between them. There's Croft, there's Stitchbury. Behind them now, we've got Andrew Neil, Kenny Smith just going out of picture as they all head down the front straight here. Look at them jostling all over the track, looking for ways through. Fantastic.
When you can't back off for a moment, if you do, you lose the momentum, so you must take chances, you must take risks, you must poke your nose sometimes where it's not wanted, but you must keep that flowing momentum going. This is Mike Davison on screen in the Dulux car, that's the sponsor. They'll be pleased to see him right up there, but this is slipstreaming in full gear. The guys, watch Smith coming up on Stitchbury, he pulls out. Has he got it? No, in fact, it's Neil. Neil on the grass. They're all over the place.
With him as well.
So Croft has got his lead protected now while these two guys fight for second place. He's going to get a little breather, but Neil ranges up on the outside, Stitchbury on the inside. No rest for Croft.
Got a big handful of it there, and he uses up all the track. Has just been wide.
But he's placed better though, John. Look, he's on the inside. He's grabbed second place. Andrew Neil. He won a race at Wellington. Well, correction, he crashed badly at Wellington. He was looked set to win the race at Wellington. On the last lap, the man in the lead, Gary Croft, grabbed the lead off him and won convincingly. But there's Stitchbury. He's not finished yet. He's coming back for a go. Reese Mackay's in there.
Well, let's have a look at them as they go through Castrol. Gary Croft in the blue car, Andrew Neil in the white car. Then it's Ashley Stitchbury, and behind them, Ken Smith is still there.
Mike Davison's there ready, and remember, it all happens on the last lap. These guys will be just watching each other, obviously getting the toe down there now. They're resting their tyres somewhat. They're still driving hard, and they will tell you it's very, very hard to drive this far all the race. So they're trying to protect what they've got left. There's Neil on the outside of Croft. The Colonial Neutral car is going for the lead. He's got it.
So Andrew Neil takes over the lead from Gary Croft, Ashley Stitchbury. Then it's... looks like it's Ken Smith there, Mike Davidson, Reese Mackay, and is that Nigel Barclay from the South Island there? Yes, it is. He's up there as well. So
Blair Smith joins him. Those are mainlanders. That's from your part of the world, I think, John.
Well, we spent a bit of time there, that's for sure, and I've got a lot of respect for Nigel Barclay. He's a good young driver, taking up the mantle left by Andy McElroy when McElroy won the title last year. Look at this!
Andrew Neil grabs the lead in the Reynard from Gary Croft in the beautiful little 92 model Swift. In fact, it's so new, it's just about, the paint is barely, he's going for it.
Too close, too close.
That is close motor racing. The boys respected each other, knew exactly what to do. I'm really impressed with the way that these guys are not crashing. They know in order to win a championship, Andrew Neil has not got the budget to do a full season's racing. He dearly needs to win today to get himself enough publicity to hopefully get some money to complete the series. Ashley Stitchbury's coming up on the outside in the Van Diemen. Will he do it? Croft, giving him a little bit of a nudge up the gearbox.
And he had to back off, and that allowed Stitchbury to get up to second. So let's have a look at that earlier incident. Now, you watch where the wheels go, in beside each other. Oh, my crikey, that was close, David.
Well, if he backed off, that's the problem. If Gary backed off, he would have lost that place to Stitchbury. So he had to keep his foot down and keep the momentum up. This is the hairpin replay, sticking his nose right under Andrew Neil, making sure he knew where he was. Stitchbury's able to hold Croft tight and therefore take second place.
Well, we're back live now, and Andrew Neil has the lead. Ashley Stitchbury's in second place. Then we've got Gary Croft, and Kenny Smith is still there. Mike Davidson behind him, Reese Mackay, Nigel Barclay. And right behind Nigel Barclay there, we've got young Smithy Blair Smith from the South Island. Look at them snaking across the track, right looking for the draft.
Right at the end of that bunch there, just in coming in the shot, another 17-year-old.
That'd be Shane Drake, would it?
Mark Tordoff, I think, from Hamilton, having his first ever race in single-seaters. Another boy out of cards, but Andrew Neil and Stitchbury, the two youngsters, but...
Oh, that's Kenny Smith through. Oh, Crofty's got all mixed up with him. The wheels are tangled up in there, and Stitchbury's been shunted back, I think, to about fourth place. Davidson's come up now in third or fourth. No, Stitchbury's back in the fifth place. That was a bit of an interesting move on the outside as Stitchbury came up very wide, and he seemed to lose it, and he tangles with Croft. Here's Croft, goes a little bit wide, and he takes out Stitchbury, we could say. Lets Kenny Smith through into second place, Croft into third. Stitchbury shoved it all the way back behind Mike Davidson and took advantage of the situation. And they're still at it. Look at this, David.
All of which helps Andrew Neil, because he's got, in terms of Formula Ford racing, with only such a short distance to go, he's got a good breathing space. Now he can make his lines work for him. He can drive at the corner, not so defensively. Ken Smith coming under pressure from Croft. Someone's dropped back. Is that a Class B car? I don't think it's an issue. There's Neil, there's Smith, there's Croft. Watch for the hairpin on this lap, 2 laps to go. Neil will be using the wide entry so that he gets a very fast exit.
Oh, look at them. But throwing them into the corner.
The second.
They're literally throwing them into the corner and just hoping those brakes do their job, David.
This is copybook stuff for Andrew Neil. That's just what he wanted. Those boys are fighting for second, destroying their lines into the turns and giving Andrew Neil the lead that he wanted.
Well, I hope you're watching this Colonial Mutual, because he's doing the job for you. He's looking for more money too, I tell you, to finish the season. There's Kenny Smith in second, Gary Croft in third, Mike Davidson, and what a lineup. Ashley Stitchbury's now been shunted right away back.
Let's look for Mike Davidson making a late charge here. This is the final lap, and Mike Davidson in the Dulux car is coming through. He's fourth now, and he's looking to make a move on the Ubix car of Croft. Kenny's got wide and untidy going into the turn. Is that going to affect them down the straight? Those boys are getting rough now. They're getting tatty.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's really about concentration and fitness, isn't it, David? All the way through the race.
Well, they're all mad with themselves because they've let Andrew Neil sneak away. If he does everything right out of the flag, he's got it. But second place is a championship of 18 races. This is race number 6. There's still 12 to go. They'll line up in Invercargill on the end of December for the big global round, but Andrew Neil, he wants to win today to get there.
And he did it all right on that corner. He used all the road. He didn't have to worry about the people behind him too much. And here he is now. He's driving the race within himself. Andrew Neil, as he comes up over Mobil Mountain to come down to get the checkered flag. Kenny Smith behind him, then Gary Croft with the checkered flag, and he's happy. Here he is. Andrew Neil wins it. Kenny Smith will be second. Then we go back to Gary Croft. Stitchbury got up ahead of Davidson. Reese Mackay, Blair Smith, and then we go back to Nigel Barclay. What a lineup.
Great stuff from the youngster from Hastings. There's not many racing drivers in Hastings simply because there's not many racetracks down that way. But this boy went to England. He learnt the hard way. Went to the Reynard factory, worked on the nuts and bolts, put together a beautiful little car. That Reynard, Kenny Smith coming up to acknowledge his victory. Very good sporting stuff. But Andrew Neil put together this deal with Reynard to get the car to be on loan to bring to New Zealand, and it's Formula Ford. Very much a controlled formula. That's Ford Cortina engines, making sure that they expose the driver to the limit. It's Andrew Neil.
Well, there he is, coming across to get the checkered flag. Andrew Neil it was in the Reynard. He won it from Ken Smith in the Van Diemen, Gary Croft in a Swift, Ashley Stitchbury Van Diemen, Mike Davidson, Reese Mackay, Blair Smith, Nigel Barclay, Chris Abbott and John Douglas, and that rounded out the top 10.
John Douglas there with a little lock-up in the Class B car. Very important part of racing, this Class B. This encourages the boys out of karts into the second level, so to speak, the older cars. Gives them a chance to be a hero on the day.
And there we are, confirmation. Andrew Neil, Ken Smith and Gary Croft. And I tell you what, Andrew Neil, keep that name in your hat, because he's going to be a star in motorsport for the future.